Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to talk with you about education. As we all know, our country's facing an educational crisis every day. Recently, we have seen that the proposed cuts in the North Carolina budget are going to affect the education our children receive. This is a time when so many school systems are failing to meet the minimum standards set forth by the state. Our local schools had failed to meet the state standards. In 2009, our school system was taken over by the state in an effort to better educate our children. For years, many in the community knew that our children were not being properly educated. Myself, I was a single mother struggling to make ends meet. Even though I wanted a better education for my children, I couldn't afford to relocate, nor could I afford to enroll my child in a private school. So I accepted a poor education over no education at all for my child. All of this changed for me one day when a friend suggested that I look into a new school that had opened in Gaston, North Carolina. The new school that had opened was Gaston College Preparatory School, or GCP. It is where I was introduced to KIPP schools. For those of you who have never heard of a KIPP school, I would suggest that you go to their website at www.kipp.org. Today, though, I'd like to take a few minutes of my time to introduce you to what I feel like is the best school system I have ever done. KIPP stands for Knowledge is Power Program. KIPP is a national network of free, open enrollment college preparatory schools that prepare students in disadvantaged communities for the success they will need in college and in life. In 2004, I enrolled my son Adam in GCP. I must admit I was a little skeptical of the claims that I had heard from parents and what I had read on the website. Wasn't quite sure that they could accomplish what they were claiming to. My son Adam resisted at first because they required him to go to school every other Saturday. And as we know, no child wants to go to school on Saturday. In fact, as adults, we don't even want to work on weekends. We made the agreement, however, that if after 1 year, if he didn't like the school, then he could go back to his previous school. I'm proud to say that it has been 7 years, and my son will graduate in 2012 from KIPP Pride High. Adam has not only finished middle school with Gaston College Preparatory, but continued on to the newly built KIPP Pride High. During Adam's first year at GCP, he went from remedial reading classes at his previous school to the accelerated reading classes. In 8th grade, he passed his high school SATs. How many students can we say have done that in the 8th grade? That's really an accomplishment. Also, as a rising senior, he's been awarded 2 academic scholarships and a sports scholarship, which is based on his football. They have a great athletic program. They're offering everything that your public schools are offering. In fact, we are a public school. We receive 80% of our funding from the public school system. You might ask, what has made the difference for him? All I can say is what made the difference was the KIPP philosophy. KIPP builds a partnership between parents, teachers, and students and emphasizes putting learning first. This is done by providing outstanding teachers, more time spent in school, and stressing a culture of learning. KIPP operates on a core set of principles that they call the 5 pillars. The first pillar is high expectations. What this means is they place high expectations of academics and conduct on its students. KIPP believes in the idea of no excuses for teachers, students, or parents. It's everyone's responsibility to encourage our students to meet the expectations set forth. These expectations are met with a system of rewards and consequences. The second pillar is a choice and a commitment. No one goes to KIPP because they're forced to go. Parents, teachers, and students participate in the program willingly. When your child enrolls, your child and everyone concerning his or her education commits to that student's success. The third pillar is more time. Our children spend more time in school than the average student in order to meet the expectations that we set forth. The students go to school Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5, and on Fridays and every other Saturday from 9 to 2. That's a long school day. Many children resist it, but it's necessary for them to achieve the amount of knowledge they need to succeed. The fourth pillar is the power to lead. This means that our principals are strong leaders who understand what it means to succeed, and they lead by example. They are more than willing to make sure that any monies that we have set aside goes to the student and what those students' needs are. And lastly, there's a focus on results. KIPP schools focus on high student performance, and students are expected to not just meet the goals set forth, but to exceed those goals. And they are rewarded for accomplishing their goals. As I stated before, KIPP not only teaches academics, but they also teach life skills. Students are held accountable for their actions. There's a mandatory leadership, self-esteem, business attire, professional behavior classes that they must complete. As well, each student before graduation is required to shadow a business leader for 1 semester. In a time where our country's schools are fighting to meet the bare minimum requirements set forth by the state, KIPP schools are meeting the requirements and exceeding them. It is the KIPP system of putting learning first, of making everyone part of the learning process, and setting high expectations that have shown time and time again that our children are capable of success. We just need to push them a little. As proof that the KIPP program works, all we have to do is look at the accomplishments of our graduating class. This year will be our 3rd graduating class, and each graduating class has had 100% college acceptance. Our students have been accepted to the most prestigious schools in the country, including Yale, Harvard, Duke, the University of Miami, University of California, Bowman Gray Medical School, ECU, the Naval Academy, and yes, even UNC Greensboro. What I ask of everyone who has a school-age child is to just take the time to visit the website. See what good things the KIPP program is offering. For those of you who are living in North Carolina, I invite you to visit the local KIPP school and talk with students and teachers. You will be convinced, just as I have been, that KIPP schools are the future of this country.